It's like the first time we've ever not said what we're talking about in the first segment.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
We talked about nothing but...
Yeah, but we didn't say what we're talking about. We normally say what we're going to talk about.
Oh,
You
that's
said
right.
you were just going through your first segment.
Yeah, I know, but the... Oh. Okay, well, whatever.
Our first scheduled segment.
Yeah.
So,
All
that was
right.
your in-flight movie. Now to
Hello.
your destination.
We are, okay, alright. Lurez?
Yeah.
Okay, so, as my wife so lovingly pointed out, we just did our first segment, so we just got to our second segment.
Yes, that was my girlfriend's call, who I just ignored.
This is like the relationship episode. My wife's here, your girlfriend's calling. You should like put her on speakerphone. We could just have like a four-way
Well,
comment
if I would have known that would have
conversation.
been allowed, I totally would have done it.
No, it's not allowed.
Oh, okay.
I'm married. She can be here, but you can't have her here. I'm just kidding. If Cynthia's watching now, she really hates me. I'm just joking, Cynthia. Anyways.
Well, with you making comments about, like, if I left my phone alone with you, you send her text messages about how you're going to, like, I'm breaking up with her and stuff.
Oh, yeah. That would be awesome. I threatened him that if he ever left his phone and I got a hold of it, I was going to steal it and I was going to text Cynthia and act like I was him and, like, break up with her. Needless to say, there's now an ongoing joke that there is a artery from his heart to his phone. Because he never is without. One time though you did and I hid it from you.
Yeah, I knew you did, like, took it or something, because I remember putting it on the windowsill, and we're not talking about our subject at all.
We're not. Let's get into this. Okay, so today we're talking about, we promised you last week that we're going to be catching up on some Batman stuff. So what we decided to do is, and these changes aren't official yet, but we're going to be doing once or twice a month, we haven't come up with a name for it yet, but like Geek Church Flashback or Rewind or, I don't know, something not as like mid-90s Disney show sounding as that, where we basically go back a couple years and catch up with so some stuff that like current comics are based off of and catch up. As an example, some of the Batman stuff. There's really amazing right now Batman Robin or Batman Reborn with the new Batman and the new Robin. And they're about ready to do, in fact it may be out already, of the new, like, of Bruce Wayne being back. So if we just start talking about that, you're like, oh, what's been going on? We're going to go and catch up with that starting today, where we're going to do Battle for the Cowl, and then we're going to then jump into the Batman Reborn series. And go with there. A couple other things we're going to do, we'll talk more about this, in the first of the year. We'll be doing this, so twice a month we'll be doing, like, older subject stuff from the last few years, probably 5 years or so ago. Around that 2005 is when like comics, a lot of stuff changed both in DC and Marvel and just got really amazing.
They just like put everything into like the roulette table and just like gave it a spin. And
it's when like comics went from being like comic books to being like comic book version of movies, and so
it almost like people have decided they want to like almost soap opera type thing into it, because you know how soap opera has those stunning, crazy twists right at the end of an episode type thing.
So Batman, Battle for the Cowl, what'd you think?
I didn't. It was good. Like the character development was very good, very strong, independent characters. Each one could have you could have made several different books to this, like they did with Civil War, out of just this one series, and man, that sauce really messed me up. But it's just the ending. It was very irresolute for me. I like, it kind of just went like it was all building up, and then just like.
Yeah, I kind of felt that it was really good. I think I talked, I don't know, somewhere a few episodes back about how when I was younger. I love it. He's like, no, it's fine. It's kind of hot, not really. You're like, you're in a cough, and all of a sudden you're like in a cough, and you're like, okay, there's blood in my hands. I need to go to the doctor.
Now I just can't swallow or taste anything.
So I talked, however many episodes back, about how when I was younger, I was more into like the like fighting kind of stuff, like the big storylines, like like the Justice League versus Another, just like that big stuff. Like I love just like the not Ultimate Alliance. I don't even know. That's an awesome video game. The Infinity Crisis stuff. That's the kind of stuff I like when there was like tons of heroes in it. Am I gonna even get through this episode without?
As soon as I learn how to breathe again.
Yeah. I used to love that stuff when there was like huge amounts of characters and there was all this stuff like back when the Justice League, used to be like 20-something characters long. And I love those kind of things, and that's kind of how this was. It was like the Batman network, so there was like Knight and Squire, of course Nightwing, Robin.
I've never actually heard of Knight or Squire before.
I have seen Knight a lot, and I just didn't know his name.
He looks.
I've never seen Squire.
Like a really lame version of Batman. He's got the Knight grill over him, but still got the exposed jaw.
And I hope I never see Squire again.
You looked like a Harley Quinn with color.
Harley Quinn, like a green and yellow Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn, yeah, it was weird. Anyways, but lately, and again, I said this before, but I've really been enjoying more of the character pieces lately. So here's my thing about it. I enjoyed it, but I feel like if I had read this before I read like Old Man Logan, specifically Old Man Logan, and some of the stuff, even the Batman and Robin, the next one that we'll talk about, Batman and Robin, which was much more character driven. I would have like totally geeked out and like been fanboy on this and been like this is like a 9 out of 10 or something, we should probably start like rating these. We've never done that, but we should like rate what we think of them in the future. Not for this one because otherwise it'd just be random. We haven't put much thought into it. But for this one, I think it dropped down a few for me because honestly, I think for the next probably the whole winter, everything I read is going to be kind of spoiled by the amazingness that was Old Man Logan and then the Batman Under the Red Hood.
That was like
those two were just
so
good.
Logan was like watching Wanted and then having a bunch of M. Night Shyamalan movies after that.
But you know what I mean? Like between those two, like that was probably Under the Red Hood. We talked about how that was like the best animated film that we think we've ever seen. I don't know if we actually said that, but like we talk about how amazing it is. And then Old Man Logan is probably the best comic I've ever read. And so now I just feel like I would have liked this a lot more if I hadn't have like just a couple weeks ago we had done Old Man Logan. If I just walked into the store, I haven't read any comics in a while, and I grabbed it, I would have been like, this is amazing. But I was really missing, like you're talking about, like it felt like it was very skimmed over. It was almost like it was like the abridged version. And there's all these characters. So it had a huge breadth, but there was no depth. Like it was very much just like jump.
Tons of characters. There was Knight and Squire.
Yeah, they had
Oracle, of course, was in it, and then
they had the Birds of Prey, a Huntress. The girl who looks like a taxi driver.
What is her name?
I don't know. I don't even know her name. And she's got like the yellow bird and like the taxi driver hat, and then she's got this like old school like.
I thought she looked more like the old like.
Street Fighter, like kind of. I don't know. It was weird. I don't know who she is. And a character actually, I like her.
I keep wanting to call her Songbird, but her name is
Black Canary. Which when I was a kid, and you probably know this. You've probably seen me because I don't do it much anymore, but I used to do it a lot. Where I would read something and I'd be lazy. I'd half read it and then I'd make up for what the rest of the word is. So I used to think that she
does that listening now. He's learned how to listen.
Yeah, now I do it listening. I used to think her name was. Black Canary or whatever, because I didn't really read her. I read half of her name. I go, like Canary or whatever. It's weird. And then it wasn't until years later when I got older. I was like, that doesn't even make sense. Like Black Canary, makes so much more sense that she screams and the Sonic thing.
And I'm like, my wife said Black Canary.
Was it? That makes me sound really retarded because I was a lot older when I was married. Otherwise, they would have thought when he was 12 or 9.
I met you when we were that age.
That's true. So, anyways, Black Canary is a really cool character. She's this, I don't know, there's so much more depth you could have done.
She's a great character as far as, she reminds me a lot of, Chun-Li from a Street Fighter, but I don't like her power. Well, the thing
that's cool about her is she's very much like a Batman or Hawkeye, or I guess Green Lantern, Green Arrow, if I can get this out, where she's much more of just a natural, she's trained, she's in shape, she's a good fighter, and she's going to beat you up. But then she has that extra element of, a superpower. So she's less of, a regular superhero, going off of the Justice League Unlimited, the Cheetah, or whatever her name was, where she could take it out and she could, that kind of thing. Or
Vixen?
Vixen, there you go. That's right. There was like a villain, an old like Justice Friends villain that was like something Cheetah, I think.
Made up with
it was
Batman.
Like, well, not in the old thing. She didn't.
No, not in the old one.
Anyways, she was, yeah.
Anyways.
So I don't know. I just felt like, but yeah, that's kind of cool. She has the extra element. So
and the Wildcat was in it too.
Yeah, not really though. He was like in a couple panels. Did he even talk?
Yeah, he was in a couple of spreads. He doesn't even
like it's like lines. There was a lot, and I'm not saying that the book should have been much more of a character piece because it's not what the book was. I'm just saying that because I've kind of like that's what I've been attuned to now with like Old Man Logan. Like I want Old Man Logan 2. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of spoiled a little bit on that. But I think it was very good. There was, I don't know, I'm not sure. I could say overall I liked it, but at the end it was kind of interesting, like the whole Jason Todd. I don't think it was done nearly as well. And I'm going to say the same thing about the next one we do, the first Batman Reborn. Good night, phone. Batman Reborn, which is the same thing. Jason Todd comes back and there's a similar thing. It's not the exact same story, but it's very similar. And I'm going to say to them about both of them is, I think that Batman Under the Red Hood did it much better. The drama between like Jason Todd and Bruce Wayne and all this kind of stuff, and Nightwing, I don't think the comics did as good of a job. Like, the whole climactic thing is at the end, it's like between Tim, Dick, and Jason, and it's like the three Robins, right? And there's like the first Robin, who needs to become Batman, but is hesitant to. There's the current Robin, who says, well, if Dick doesn't do it, then I'm going to, and dresses up like Batman, which it was the old school, like the blue gloves and blue cowl, Batman. And then there's Jason Todd, who's like, I'm the new Batman, and like, instead of, well, he has batarangs, but he has
pulling
two
out
pistols.
gats, and he was blowing everybody away.
You can't say gats.
Gats?
You can't pull that off.
Yeah, but Gotham's kind of like the gangster thing.
Yeah, but you can't pull it off. I'm just saying. So
I'm not trying to. I'm trying to make fun of it. But, yeah, he had a couple of. He's got his guns, and he was shooting up everybody.
I just don't think that the psychological aspect. I don't know. Maybe I'm going through this phase where I'm just wanting like psychological comics, and I need to just go read some Stephen King's like graphic novels or something. But like, because they don't all have to be that, right? Like, you should be able to just go have a fun comic or something like this, where it's doesn't have to all be that. But that's just kind of like what I'm kind of attuned to right now. That I'm particularly enjoying right now. So I think it was ruined for me a little bit because I'm not really in the mood for that. Like, if I was more in the mood for something more of like that kind of larger spread action, I would have probably liked it a lot better. But no, all in all, it was very good. I was very happy when the mask came off that Jason Todd still was dyeing his hair black, because in the next one we'll find out that he actually has like orange Jimmy Olsen hair, and Batman used to make him dye it. So, well, he says he looked more like the original Robin, but really probably so Batman like could actually have some respect for him, because he looks stupid in the next book. Yeah. But we'll talk about that more in the next book. I mean, with that, I know we didn't really cover a lot of the plot, but the plot's pretty simple. Batman's gone missing, or Bruce Wayne's gone missing, and it's like, who's going to replace him? And it's like the battle for the cowl. There's the Batman network's been called in because Gotham City's gone to crap, and like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, they're talking about the whole city's burning down. Like, talk about, you could compare it to like the LA riots type stuff.
It's really bad.
Police are out of control. Policemen are retiring and resigning and stuff because they're so fearful for their lives. And
stuff. And Jason Todd like comes and he's saying he's Batman, and it's this whole idea, and like at the very end of it, basically Dick Grayson, the original Robin, is going to decide to become Batman. Which, in my opinion, he's not ready yet. But I think Tim Drake will be. No, not even. I'm not saying Dick. I don't think Dick would ever be a good Batman. He's too much of a different personality. He's got like he's more serious, I know, but he's got a little bit of the Kyle Rayner, like Green Lantern / like Spider-Man personality to him. Like, even in the Red Hood, it was like the voice of Doogie Howser's, and he's like very much joking, lighthearted. I don't think he ever will be a good Batman. Personally, I think that Tim Drake will be the best replacement, because he is like a clone of Batman. Not literally a clone, but
he even puts on the costume and goes after the Red Hood of Batman, and Catwoman knows, obviously, because Tim Drake is not as tall as Bruce Wayne, but at the same time, it's like, he had it sold. I mean, people were seeing him, and they were completely, from a distance.
And again, he's still a teenager right now, but when he's, older, I think he would be the best replacement for Batman. I just don't think he's ready yet. But with that, we've used up all our time. We're going to move into our last segment.